Hey, hi guys, I'm Naval Yamal. So in this video, we are going to see about the output statements. Yes, let us start with this output statements. So as we all know, like whatever output we want to show, the value we want to show, we use a print function for that. If I say print and whatever I write inside this, suppose if I write Python, that will be printed. We know this. Suppose if I have two words, for example, if I want to write print data and Python like this, and also Azure, something like this. And if I run this, I can see that all in a horizontal line, straight, same line. Suppose if I want to print that in a new line, suppose I want data and then Python in a new line and Azure in a new line. So how can you do that? So here we are using an escape characters. So let me put it in this one, escape characters. So with the help of these escape characters, we are going to use a new line, a tab, or you can concat, or you can do all the things. Let me show you. So if I write, suppose data, oh, just a second. Yeah. So if I just write print and data, and if I write slash n here, slash n, and if I write Python, and if I run this, now you can see this slash n will move your cursor to a new line. As the name itself indicates, slash n will move your cursor to the new line. Then there is a slash tab also, that is slash t, that will give you a tab. So tab between these two. There are a lot of escape characters. Then there is a carriage return, there is a backspace, there is a form feed, all this, but we are looking at only one or two. One is slash n. So if I write slash n after this word also, like slash n, and if I write Azure here, let me rerun this. Now you can see here we got a space, that's why we are getting a space. Now you can see here data, Python and Azure. So if you want to print that in a new line, you can use slash n. So I'm talking about the escape characters. In that I'm talking especially about the slash n. So this will create a new line. If you use slash t, that will create a horizontal hori- horizontal tab. Okay, let us use horizontal tab. Instead of slash n, let me copy it, and instead of n I'll use t, and now you can see the output. Okay, let me run this. Now you get data, tab and Python, and slash n will give your cursor, or the cursor will move towards the new line, and Azure is printed in the new line. So you can do the printing or the output statements with various formats. Okay, let us look at the third form of the output. So suppose the first form was very simple, that we have seen here. The second form is we can use the escape characters inside the print statement. We have seen it here. The third form is like, suppose I want to assign three values for three different variables. For example, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, and c equal to 30. Okay, and if I want to write print, the value of a is this one, b is this one. So here you can take a multi-line, that is obvious, but can I take all that in a single line? So that is what the third form of the print is. Yeah, you can take that in Python. Suppose a, you can put a comma, b, you can put a comma, c, and you can say that is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30. So here it will automatically assign the first value to the first variable, second value to the second variable, third value to the third variable. And if I say print, and if I say the values are, then you put a comma here, then you say A comma B comma C. Okay, so the values are, it will print this, and whatever the value of A is there, that will print 10 and comma 20 comma 30, but in the output you cannot see the commas here. So let me run this. Now you can see the values are first A, that is 10, then 20, then 30. You can assign multiple values in the same line. Okay, so that is a specialty of Python. But uh, in other programming language, you have to take only one variable at a time in one line. I hope you got this. Let me talk about the attributes in Python now. It is a continuation of the same output, like how you can show the output by various ways. So let me talk about the attributes. So there are two types of attributes in Python. One is your separator attribute, second is your end attribute. Very important and useful when you are using a pattern programs. Okay, so I'll give you the same example. Suppose I take A comma B comma C comma D, and if I assign the value like this, 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40, and if I say print, okay, I'm using just print A comma B comma C comma D, and if I run this, so your A will be 10 20 30 40. By default here we have a space. By default there is a space. Okay, but I don't want a space. I want the separator something comma here, or a colon here, or a semicolon in between these two variables. So how to set a separator? That is called a separator. So I'll just put copy the same code, and in the print statement, after my all variables, you can use a separator. So this is a separator. What is separator? So it will separate these variables by whatever you write here. So if you write a colon, so it will separate by a colon here. So separator equal to, in a string you put whatever you want to use. So if I run this, now you can see a colon, that is separated. Instead of a colon, if I want something else, you can use that in the quotes. So let me put this, and instead of colon, if I put double asterisk and if I run, so you can see that 10 double asterisk 20 double asterisk 30 double asterisk 40 and so on. So whatever you put that in this separator, that will be printed. So this is how your separator attribute works. So as the name itself indicates, it will separate by this attribute. Let us talk about the end attribute now. Suppose if I write, I have different output statements, like I have print, and I'll have, suppose, hello, and if I have different statement like print, and it is hello Python, and SQL. Suppose, let me run this. So what you will get, in every line you need to understand very carefully. So each and every print statement will execute in a separate line, you can separate line. So if I just go back and show you, so if I write all that in one word, it will print in one horizontal line. If I take print statements in a series, so you will get that in a new line. Okay, so if my requirement is, I don't want to move my cursor to the next line, so I want to print all this in a horizontal. For example, hello Python and SQL, something like that. So hello Python and SQL all should be printed in the same line by using all these print statements. So you can do that by using a end attribute. So what does end attribute do? Your end attribute will not move your cursor to the next line. So just you should say end and put a space in between or nothing in between that. So what does this end attribute do? Your cursor will not move to the next line. Your cursor remains in the same line. Let us look here. So hello Python and so hello Python and so this, because here you have an attribute, hand attribute, so it will remain your cursor in the same position and it will print the second line. After printing Python, your cursor remains in the same line, then you have an end attribute, so it will print this and also. Here you do not have an end attribute, so again it will go to the next line and print a sequel. So this end attributes plays a very important role if you are printing a patterns. We will be seeing about that patterns in the coming sessions. So let me take a space here. Let me take a space here and run this here. So now you can see whatever you take this in the end attribute, that will be printed after this whole statement. Okay. So if I take an end attribute here and if I say end colon, let me take a space, and you can take a double quote and single quote, both will work. We have already covered all that. Now you can see you get all that in a single line instead of this. So if my requirement is something like this, so if my requirement is uh, hello, just a second. Yeah. Yeah, so this is my requirement, so I want to print in this way, like good colon morning and three asterisks hello and data Python Azure and SQL by using this end attribute and the separator attribute. So think on this for 1 or 2 seconds and then I'll tell you the solution. So this is the solution for the task. Okay, a very simple task. So you use these two in a separate and put a comma here. Take a separator for these two, then it will print good morning. And if you are using an end attribute, your cursor remains in the same line, and whatever you have used that in an end attribute, that will be printed, and the cursor will not move in the next line. So whatever is there in the next print statement, that will be printed here. And now we have not used anything after the hello here, so your cursor will move to the next line here, and whatever you are writing this, it will be printed by a space, but here you have used a separator called an asterisk, so that will be printed. I hope you understood this attribute and output statements. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. Keep learning.